Now, leather is very useful stuff, and like most useful things, people have always decorated them. So that for a long time, leather-covered books were tooled like this, in intricate patterns. And even today, it's done just for decoration. This tiny saddle has been punched with intricate punch marks to raise and lower these patterns. That's a lovely thing. And even my trusty old belt, if you look at it, has been punched with intricate designs as well. Now, those are fairly ambitious projects. You may not be able to afford that amount of leather or do that sort of work. But you can do leather work nonetheless. You can make simple things like keyrings. That's just one punch right in the middle of it. And you can make things like pendants and devices to keep your hair in place. And even, if you have a strip of long scrap leather, something like a bookmark. All of those are really quite simple projects. Well, how do you stamp leather? Like this. A piece of leather is taken and it's soaked in water, at least it's really sponged with water, so it's damp top and bottom. And that makes it a little bit softer to work, and then it's placed face down, or really shiny side up, I should say, on a hard surface. I'm using steel here, but you could use a smooth brick. And these are leather punches. If you look at them, you can see they come in a great variety of shapes and designs. Some for borders, some little animals, some just interesting patterns. And by placing one of those punches on the surface of the leather and smiting it hard with a hammer, you could drive that pattern into the leather. You can see that I've made a little creature just by my finger. In fact, if I was making a belt, I could make a pattern down here with lots of little creatures going along the bottom and flying horses above them, depending on which punches I had. But that's the problem. The punches cost a lot of money. So how do you do leather work when you've only got scraps of leather and you haven't got any punches? You use wire. Wire like this. It's really quite easy to bend this in your fingers, but for intricate designs, you want to use some pliers. The finer the better. And all you do is to start twisting that wire into the sort of shape you like. It's rather like just drawing something with one continuous line. Well, I've done a few here to show you what I mean. If you look there, you can see there's a leaf, an outline, there's a little bird there, and this one is a bit larger and longer. It's a fish. Well, I'm going to use those to make some sort of design in my leather. Let's take the bird to begin with. Put that on the hard surface, and take a piece of leather. This is going to be something to hold your hair in place. And in this case, once we've damped the thing down, we don't drive the shape into the leather, we hammer the leather onto the shape, making really a sandwich with the wire shape in between the leather and the hard surface. That should do it. Okay, let's position that above the bird. Hold it in place, being careful not to hammer your fingers, and hammer the leather. And you should see the design coming up through the leather. Here goes. Now you can dimly see the shape of the bird on that side, but if I turn that round, you see the wire has really dug beautifully into that leather. If I pull it out, there, lo and behold, is a stamped shape, really quite deeply set in there. Now to put this thing into your hair, you need two holes, and they can be tricky. You can get a sharp skewer and push it through the leather, but it makes a mess, so I think the best thing to do is to find a bit of pipe, steel or brass will do, and with a file, just keep filing the end until it's nice and sharp like a knife. I've done it there. You can see I've already been punching leather with it and it's cut out these little holes. This is what happens. We want a hole about there, a good hit with a hammer, drive it through onto wood, because the wood stops us from mucking up that sharp edge, and another one down here will complete the pattern. Okay, now we can cut it out, and I think some nice roundish shape will do the job. Remember, leave a bit of a border because we're going to decorate that too. There we go. A bit neater than that wouldn't hurt, but I'm rushing this one through. Well, what are we going to do for a border? Anything you like, really, but I think a paperclip is as good as any, because a paperclip has a nice rounded end. By pushing that onto the edge there and giving it one smite like that, I leave a little scalloped edge. And by overlapping them, I can work it all the way around like that. Well, I've already done that, and over here is the finished product. And you can see, by getting a spike like that, this is a piece of doweling just worked smooth, put it through there, trap the hair, and bring it out on the other side. And that's the finished article. And that's really all you need. Just scraps of leather, cut up old shoes, that'll do, bits of wire, and a bit of ingenuity. See how you go. Curiosity.